Yo, 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 welcome back to Neighborhood Politics. And I am Mrs. Neighborhood Politics.
And I'm Mr. Neighborhood Politics.
Before we get into it, before we, introduce our guests, this is our first episode back.
For sure.
Our first episode back for real.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Cause this is literally the beginning.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, so yes, this is our first episode back. We happy to be here. We so excited to be right back on the mic. We pray that y'all really enjoy this episode. We know that y'all will, but we pray that y'all receive something from it, and we just excited. So yeah, you want to introduce our guest?
I mean, it's funny because do we really need an introduction? If y'all been tapped in again, I think y'all done seen this special guest on the couch before. So, like you said, it's pretty dope to not only kind of, this fresh start, but to be bringing it back with somebody that's near and dear to our heart. With a special message. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and do the special honors of doing that for us.
Yeah, man, it's Gradat, man. Neighborhood man of God, the neighborhood servant of God, and trainer that inspiring people to get closer to God, surrender, and just be whatever you want to be in life, man. No matter who doubts you, no matter who believes in you, if you believe in it, you can't be stopped. Go Gradat. So that's what Gradat mean. There it is.
Yeah, go Gradat.
I like that.
Period. I love that. Okay, so listen, we got to get into all the things, but the first thing before we get into is how you been. How are you feeling? Where you at mentally, emotionally? What's going on? Give us a little back.
I'm where my feet are at and where God want me to be. I feel at peace. I feel not behind. I don't feel too far forward. Because I just really surrender just to being still and just taking a day at a time on His timing. I don't really expect anything outside of what I want anymore. I just go with the flow of what I feel like He's telling me to do on a daily basis. The days just stack up. So monthly, I've been good. I've been in a good space.
That's good. I'm sorry because that's dope. That's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age that we live in, it's hard to be okay with, as you said, where God got your feet at. It's so easy to get onto social media and see what somebody else is doing, and to have a visual or idea of where you're supposed to be at as an individual, and you may not be. So, and it's so easy to get distracted in that. So, to hear you sit here, just hear you say that, you're where you're supposed to be right there. That's I love. Listen, we starting off strong.
We're starting off strong.
We're starting off strong with that one.
No, and I agree because I was about to say when you just said being still.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been practicing being still.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Not at all.
Because we in a world full of just distractions and on the go type pace.
Yeah.
So my question to you when you saying just being still, how do you get into that space? What does that look like for you?
Like you said, it's not easy. So it's times where I do get antsy, I do get anxiety, and be like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I where I need to be? But this right here,
what's that?
The Bible, man. It's the rule book. It's back in the day, you had an open note test and they give you all the answers. So it's for that, man, when I start getting worried, when I start overthinking, when I start trying to control stuff, when I can't figure it out, I never can figure it out on my own. But every time I go back to the source, it takes a weight off my shoulder and I can just be okay where I'm at and understand I'm not in control. It just reminds me every time not to have control.
Yeah.
I've been trying to have control a big part of my life. I think we all been through that phase.
And still go through it.
Still go through it. I do too. So it's more so it's just I always remind myself just to go back to the source.
Yeah.
That's it.
The first thing that come to my mind is, faith, the word faith.
Yeah.
What is it? Having faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
And that can be challenging at times. And it sounds like, that's what you leaning on right now.
Yeah.
Walking by, it was faith, not by sight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's definitely dope. And what areas have your faith been tested during this journey?
In every way, I think first off was saying just really dying to self. And people say that and people put it on Instagram as quotes and stuff, but it's dying to self is not it's something that happens in a week. Something that happens in a year. It's an everyday battle because you think about it, man, we didn't create these habits and created this image of ourselves over years because we was living in the world. We was not having a real relationship with God. So to undo all that and to figure out who that person is you're looking at in the mirror, off of social media, off of what people was telling you who you are based off of your athleticism, it's tough.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
That's pretty cool because I know, you know, it's been times that we've had conversations, you know, just moment of transparency, you know, because, you know, Miss Politics, she's the one to where, you know, she has a burning desire to just grow as an individual, as we all do, you know, and we've had to have the moments to where we have to have them conversations and say like, listen, the person who you was for, let's say 25 years, you know, like to your point, it ain't going to just change within a week. So as long as you have that desire to grow, if you want to, man, listen, I tell all the time, and I tell myself, I'm not speaking as if it's not the same challenges that I'm faced with. I just know, you know, man, if all you got is 10% to get a God, and He know that's what you got, He'll give you the other 90. You know what I'm saying? He'll meet you at other 90. If you got 15 the next week, then He gonna meet you 85. So you know, it's about that process, and it's about trusting within that process and being okay with that, because as you said, shoot, man, if you was away for 25 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be, you got all this past trauma, all these good time, whatever the case may be, to where you done held on to this, and now you done came to a point in your life to where you really want to seek change. You know, you're gonna have them ups and downs, but just knowing it might take a 10-year span, but just being consistent and knowing that, but through this faith, I'm gonna be straight.
I think it comes down to like a few scriptures I live off of them and like really living in, like Proverbs 5:6. It says, Proverbs 5:6. It says, in all your ways,
submit to God.
Yeah, no, it's not. I got to bring it out.
No, you good.
So it says Proverbs 5:6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, He shall direct your paths. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things. Another one, Proverbs 7:8, it says, do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It'll be health to your flesh and strength to your bones.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When you talk about dying to yourself, and you were saying like it's not something that you can. It's literally something that's every day. I mean, it's literally every day that you wake up. You have to make a decision. Like, am I going like you know, just submitting to God? Like what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like dying to yourself. And I want you to kind of explain, what does dying to yourself like mean? Like fully. Like if somebody was watching this and they're trying to figure out like, okay, I want to submit to God, surrender to God fully, daily, but what does that look like for me?
Dying itself is letting go of all your lusts, letting go of all your desires, letting go of the things that He commanded you to let go of. So that can be not forgiving people. That can be holding grudges. That can be moving off of ego. That can be getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? That can be not being sober-minded. It can mean in so many different ways. I think people are in different parts in their life when it comes to their walk of faith. I think it's just, you got to fully die to self, and just bits by bits, you'll become whole with Him. But I think it's just something, it's a process. It's not nothing that just happens overnight. Like I said, just dying to self is really just really letting go of the things, anything that puts you in control, puts your mind frame of doing things out the window, and really surrendering to God and like trusting, like you said, having faith of mustard seed, walking by faith.
Yeah, man, which is hard, man, because it's hard not to. It's hard to be like. It's hard to be like, I ain't in control, and I'm okay with that.
I think the hardest part is giving up your own desires. The control thing, that's hard, but your desires as well, because you're not realizing that God has His desires for you, and then you have your own desires, and you have to literally quit your desires to go ahead and try to figure out what His is. But He do say He'll give you the desires of your heart. But it's like, I think about that even just when what we just experienced with my birthday and all the things, when I be feeling like, oh, I got all these different desires. And it's like, I don't even know if that was, some of those things was what God wanted. And then when I surrendered and asked God, like, is this what you want? He's like, actually, I had something totally different. And then also I had to realize that God will hand you over to your desires. So like, if you won't surrender to Him and submit to His, He'll give you over to what it is that you keep desiring. And I was like, that blew my mind. Like He said, oh, you gonna keep, I'll give you over to it. Go ahead. It can have you. What you about to say? My
NIGGA, he a real one. You know what I'm saying? Keep playing if you want. Like, okay, here you go. You want to play? You want to play with it? Here you go. I'm gonna let you. You will be back.
It's a scripture too for dying itself. Man, I'm happy I brought it up. It's Luke 9:23. So I want to educate everybody who watching this. Like,
I'm gonna go to it.
Yeah, Luke 9:23. It says, "Then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. And whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to take up his cross daily and follow him. You know, you got to really let go. You really got to let go in all aspects. Man.
Yeah, and we said it a few times here, but you know, I think breaking down them key words in that daily word, is it ain't it's there to tell you that today you might do great.
Yeah,
tomorrow it might be different, but it's an everyday, it's an everyday consistent battle.
Yeah.
What version was that?
This is the
no. Oh, my bad.
King James version. Is that what you mean?
It's King James.
It's New King James version. Yeah.
Okay, so could I read the message because it's going right along with what you said.
Sure.
It said, then he told them what they could expect for themselves. He said, anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. Mm-hmm. You're not in the driver's seat. I am.
Yeah.
Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Yeah. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way. My way to finding yourself, your true self. Yeah. What good would it do to get everything you want and lose you, the real you? If any of you is embarrassed with me in the way I'm leading you, know that the Son of Man will be far from embarrassed with you when he arrives in all his splendor in company with the Father and the holy angels. This isn't, you realize, pie in the sky by and by. Mm-hmm. Some who have taken their stand right here are going to see it happen, see with their own eyes the kingdom of God. He said, I think the main part was, you're not in the driver's seat, I am.
Deep. Yeah, that's deep.
Don't run from the suffering, embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said, I'll show you your true you.
Yeah.
If you just surrender that to yourself, I'm going to show you really who you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Like, that's dope. And like I said, he really just tells you, like, listen, he gives you like the formula on how to change your life. Mm-hmm. He gives you the formula on how to get out of the things you're fighting. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of people's problem is not driving. Mm-hmm. You know, I hear this all the time. People get on a plane, they trust the pilot, they don't know him. They get an Uber driver, they don't know him. They relax. So it's like,
man, back there chilling.
So it's like somebody that you have seen change lives. And I think for me, it's like, ain't no question.
Yeah.
I don't really look at self no more at all. I don't even like my old self, to be real. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest.
What transpired to get you to this place?
A lot, man. One of the first things was, when, like I said, when you fulfill with worldly accomplishments and worldly praise of, like, I was a top athlete coming out of high school, and I tore my ACL, and it was a time where I was chasing an NFL dream. And when I tore my ACL, I thought it was over. So when you take everything that you're feeding off of, when you take everything from you that you wake up and feel almighty about, he take it away from you. You feel small, and you don't know where to go. And it was a time for me to delete social media for like 3 months and really open the Bible and really figure out what walking by faith means. Really, God got it, what God got it means. Really learning him instead of just posting stuff. And because I was one of those people at one time, just posting God got me or I believe in God, but I ain't really know what walking by faith means. So I really took the time to learn what it means, how he thinks, the ways he wants us to walk, and just how I got to be a walking image of him. Mm-hmm. So.
Because there is a difference. There's a difference between, having not like knowing that God exists and saying, oh, I'm a Christian or whatever, besides actually living that life and, walking it out for real. Yeah. So I get that. Yeah. Because like you said, there's a lot of people that post, like, because God, but they don't really got no real understanding of his nature, his character, or anything like that. So I think that's what's up.
Faith without works is dead. You can go to church every Sunday. You can meditate all day, you can pray all you want, but if you're not walking in it daily, like we just talked about, I ain't gonna say it's pointless, but you're not doing what he's commanding you to do. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to be a walking image of God. I can go to church every Sunday, but if I'm out here in the streets being opposite of that stuff don't mean nothing. Mm-hmm. If I'm treating people wrong, if I'm holding grudges and judging people, like the church and prayer and stuff was like.
No, I mean, but that's real. Like you said, just really being about what you say you about. Like You in your word. It's like that. Like I always say, like you know when somebody needs to spend time with God. You can see it. You can feel it. You know what's up. You already know just by what come out of their mouth. It's like that tree that's bearing fruit. You gonna know by their fruit. What they doing, where they at. You know. So that is true. So I was gonna ask you, since we on a conversation of God, I want to talk about surrendering.
Okay.
What? Okay. So for both of y'all, what is surrendering? We talked about dying to self. Is that a part of surrendering?
I think I think they get in the same boat. I think like surrendering is like really trusting in something that you can't see. That's what faith means.
Right. So it all correlates.
I think it all correlates, it all aligns. It's like surrendering is like, I trust you, God. I wake up every day and say, God, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. My relationships, my finances, my business, my fatherhood. I trust you. I love you. Amen. So it's just like every morning, surrender everything to him.
So give it all.
Give it all. Everything. Like ain't no, like everything. Like just give it all. That's the best way I can explain. What about you, Q Money?
For sure. I mean, I think you're right on point. You know, I think is it the scripture? I don't know. I don't know what it is.
No, you good.
I just know it pertains to the birds. They don't worry about what they gonna eat, but
it's in Matthew.
It's my boy Matthew, when he talked about
don't worry for the birds. No,
for the birds.
Know what they gonna eat.
No, they know what they gonna eat.
They don't know what they gonna eat. This is not. I'm paraphrasing. Please, okay. Bible scholars, don't come for me.
It's okay.
This is the hood version. This is what we know.
We all growing together. Matthew somewhere talked about the birds gonna eat. Surrendering, but the whole point is surrendering.
I'll find it.
You know, it's all good. You don't need to find it, but you know,
give people the description.
It's all good. You know, day to day. You know, knowing surrendering, being okay with knowing, like, shoot, man, I don't know how. I don't know what's gonna happen today. I don't know where I'm gonna get it from. I don't know, you know, how it's gonna work out. But neither did them birds. And guess what? Day by day, they made sure that they ate and everything was good. You know, so I think that's just, you know.
So this is gonna be funny when I think of surrendering. So I think of like when the cops be like freeze and you like
for real though.
No.
For real though.
Seriously. When I try to think of stuff like real context that people can think of, like see, visualize. So, because I had to learn it this way. I'm dead serious. Because I'm like, God, what do you mean surrender? I was really feeling this one time. And it's like, when you surrender, you like, all right. You be like, all right, I'm cool. Like, I ain't about to try nothing else no more. I stop what I'm doing. You got me. I'll surrender. And then when I think of submitting, I think of submitting the paper. That's like, whatever you battling, whatever you going through, you submit. You give that to God. Like, you like, okay, I'm turning in this paper because you know you good for turning in papers. So you like my analogy, don't you? You ain't never think of it like that.
I mean, so would you snitch if you had to?
What is going on? What do this got to do with?
We gonna get back to it, but
surrender. If I gotta, yes, I'm gonna snitch to God.
Okay, cool.
I will snitch to God about you. I will surrender everything. I'm gonna submit and I'm gonna surrender. But that's how I kind of look at the two. Like when you surrendering, you like, all right, look, you got me. I give in. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I ain't about to fight. Here we go. It's like, you know, you getting arrested. You won't put your hands up. You ain't fighting no more. You just, here you go. Then when submitting, it's like literally just giving something to, like giving something, turning in the paper. That's how I look at it, like in physical terms, or, you know, just giving something to somebody and then being like, all right, you know, and that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to surrender and he wants you to submit. You know what I'm saying? Give your cares, give your worries, give all of that to him and surrender. All right, it ain't your problem. You got it. You good. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
For sure.
To answer your question too, when you asked me like what led me to like wanting to get a relationship with God, it had to do all what y'all was talking about. I was tired of being tired of like going through the same stuff over and over again. And it wasn't the same way, but if you're aware and if you're being intentional about your everyday steps, you realize year after year, like you're in the same area. And then a lot of people walk past that mirror in the morning that they see when you go wash your face and brush your teeth. They walk past that every day and they can easily point fingers at everybody else and not look at the source and the reason. And 99% of our problems is because of self.
Yeah. I was just telling somebody that today. I was literally saying that because God gave us free will, right? So we can make our own decisions. So that's why he just say live a righteous life, because he wants you to go the right way, not the wrong way. And I was saying that oftentimes we are in the situation that we're in because of our decision making. So it's like, let's just say this the right way, this the wrong way. You choose the wrong way. You got to take everything that comes with that wrong way, right? Yeah. Like every consequence, everything that comes with the wrong way. Then if you choose the right way, you choose in God's way. You're going to take everything that come with that. But to your point, yeah, like, it is based off of, So yeah, that I will agree. I agree.
I got another one for y'all. We're going to educate the people today on these scriptures, man, because I feel like that's what we're here for.
Yeah, no, grab your Bibles and write down these scriptures. And maybe if Rhea's feeling good, we could put some of these scriptures up on the up on the screen. Mm-hmm.
But I can't find it right now. But I know it's Proverbs 5:22, I believe, maybe. But it says, "For the ways of the man are before the eyes of the Lord. He ponders all his paths. His own undisciplined and wickedness entraps the wicked man." Then it says, "He is caught on the cord of his own sins, and he shall die from a lack of wisdom, and his greatness of his foolishness will lead him astray." So a few things in there. It's like he'll be caught on a cord of his own sins. So you might get away with it because you got free will daily to do whatever you want to do and take the steps of this world. But you will be caught on a cord of your own sins, and your own disobedience, your wickedness will entrap you. You know what I'm saying? And when it says the greatness of your folly or your foolishness will lead you astray, what does astray mean? You go away. When God says, when you go away from me and you don't let go and let me lead your life, you're going to deal with consequences and stuff that I'm not going to be able to get you out of. And I'm going to let happen to you. And you know how people say, God give his toughest battle to his strongest soldiers? God ain't put you in that situation. You led yourself to that situation, and you're strong enough to get out of it if you let him lead your life and you surrender to him. But the things of this world come unto you because you're living on this world. So it's like people mistake that. Like God don't purposely put things hard on your life, hardships. It's like, no, he lets you know if you take these certain steps, you'll be caught on the cord of your own sins. And there ain't no getting away from it.
I literally was just telling one of my friends that this morning, I'm like, the reason why you're going through what you're going through is literally because of your decision making. And I said, it ain't even like God just sitting there like, oh, I'm going to punish you. It's literally like, when you make a decision, you got to deal with what comes with that decision that you make. You know what I'm saying? And in your disobedience, that's why you in the situation when if God told you to do something and you don't do it, you're going to deal with what comes with not doing what he told you to do. It's a parent. It's like a parent.
Ain't no way around it.
Ain't no way around it. Like literally.
And when I figured that out, that's why I'm surrendering. Like, you got it. You got it, big dog. I'm cool. I'm tired of fighting.
When I say it's so hard though, because God wants you to surrender everything. He not saying just a little bit. Everything. Not just, and sometimes he'll do it bits by pieces. And then he'll get to the end and he'll be like, now I need all of you. Like I can't do half of you. Like I can't just do, no, I need all of you, like everything.
So you can sustain the blessings that he's about to bless you with.
Yeah.
A lot of times we pray for things and we want things in life and don't realize we will ruin it right when we get it because we're not equipped. We're not mentally prepared. We're not physically and mentally in a space to where we're able to handle the burden. Like people don't understand, like living in this world is easy. People think you get baptized and your life just changed. No, it get harder because not too many people are focused on being the image of God. God itself, and guess what? That comes from changing environments with friends. That comes with opinions of other people. It comes with challenges of not letting your desires and lust that we done created over the years. It's tough.
And then we gonna dive into a little bit more, but real quick, just first thing that I thought of when you were speaking was, and I'm not savvy yet with my scriptures, but it's about the brothers when the father was about to pass away and he was leaving inheritance to his sons, I believe. And it was in regards to, because we all talk about how much we want, and then we'll get mad though at God if we will feel like he ain't delivering. But he was, it was in regards to, if I'm not mistaken, how, if you're not able to balance or budget, it was the brothers, and I think one came back with he had a small amount and he was able to sustain that and I think make more of it. And then there was another brother who
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Another brother who
I can't think of the scripture, but I know what he's talking about too. And then there's a lot of different accounts where that's been the situation with stewardship.
But referring to the moment of just not being able to do well with what you got, but you want more. Yeah. You know, so but in this time being, I remember the last episode. I think we had came up on what I would call an anniversary then. Yeah. And now I think it's probably been about a year or so, a year or so since then. So we tried to get in a little bit earlier, timing, but God timing is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So I know we done came up on the anniversary for yourself. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, man. I like how you did that first off.
He's slick with it, ain't he?
Yeah, man. One of the main reasons I'm getting on this show, y'all, I'm looking at y'all because I know a lot of people are dealing with this. I know a lot of people just need guidance on this. I'm going up on 2 years and 2 months of being sober from liquor. It's something that entrapped me. It's something that led me down a lot of long and hard, deep roads. And it took me a lot to get to this point. But a lot has changed since. And I'm here to speak my truth. I'm here to be transparent on how me being sober for 2 years and 2 months has changed my life and helped me find out who I truly was. And hope it inspires people watching this to, let you know that you can do it too. And let you know you don't got to be a victim. You don't got to be letting that vice control you. And, when you find God, there's nothing that you can't overcome.
So I do got a question. I know we kind of talked about this just a little bit, but just to kind of refresh for people who maybe their first time watching this episode and watch the first one with you. Where did your desire or addiction of drinking alcohol come from?
It's crazy because you don't even know it's an addiction when you're living in it. Like when you doing it on a daily basis. It was just high school. I started early drinking, partying with the homies, going out, drinking late night. I think college is when it really hit, get crazier in college, and I think that's when I went through my first phase of learning what depression actually means. And that was what I was running to when it came to my emotions, when I was coming to getting away. You don't realize you're addicted until you go through some stuff. Being transparent, I got a DUI in college, and they expunged it, dropped down to a reckless operation, I believe. And then I still didn't learn my lesson, because they dropped it down. So it was like a pat on the wrist. I still got to play football, do my thing, so I didn't really learn. I was still living with my homies, so I didn't really know what I was dealing with and how deep it can get, And then I caught my second one in 2021. And that was like one of my big wake-up calls. And we were getting the depth of that one, but that was one of my biggest ones, yeah.
So you were saying that so you was using it as like a coping?
Yeah, I think it was one of the things. It was like a coping. It wasn't always a coping thing. It was just something that we did, be lit.
So it became something, at first it was something to do, and then...
a hobby, fun, but then when I was going through my depression in college and I didn't know where to go and I was really lost. And, a lot of people can relate to this. A lot of people are lost. So you see a lot of people now, they go through stuff. They at the bar every week. I see people to this day. That's my, people that I used to surround myself around at the bar all the time. And now when you out of it, you can see man, they dealing with something.
Yeah.
They running from something.
Yeah.
So that was what I was doing. I was running from something, trying to master pain. And I wasn't really getting much out of it because you're not going to get no answers out of that liquor. It's a temporary fix.
I think
the problem's still going to be there.
Yeah, I think what's crazy though, man, I think we can speak for our culture in general. We start early with stuff. Yeah. I remember being in when I started really smoking, 9th grade, and it was just a recreational, having fun. Oh man, we about to burn. It was cool. Yeah. And then that did turn into more of a, oh shoot, I gotta smoke to eat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I gotta smoke to go to sleep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're saying with drinking, but I gotta smoke to, I gotta pull up the things. I can't enjoy Thanksgiving unless I burn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's crazy how stuff, I guess in our culture is just passed to us so early for just recreational purposes with no, I guess, harm intent for at that moment. Except, and then gradually as we get older and we it becomes more accessible to us, we got into college and we get refund checks. I'm about to go, what I'm saying? Now I can go and buy
whatever.
What I'm saying? One of them big things of it. Now I'm realizing it's an issue. And now it became more of a need than more of a experience.
Yeah.
No, and I seen it firsthand with one of my family members. I mean, he needed liquor every day, like to even do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the Bible.
That was the Bible. That was God talking
to you. To even like eat.
Yeah.
And I've never seen nothing like that in my life. Like, was like very much so like I like needed it to eat. Like I, you hear that as far as weed. Like okay.
Yeah.
Because we give you the munchies, so you like okay. I kind of low key can see how a person can end up needing it to eat.
Yeah.
But alcohol, I've never knew that it was something that you could do so much that you needed to eat. And I made him some breakfast and he couldn't eat it.
Yeah.
He had to drink his liquor first in order to eat it. And that's when I knew like, oh, this is like a real thing. Like, and he was even getting sick without it.
Yeah.
His body started to needed to function.
Yeah.
So it's truly really is a real thing. Yeah.
I remember, man, I remember like, and these moments like this allow us for us to be transparent. I remember just smoking with my boy Treese, R.I.P. to him. That's my brother. Yeah. Love him to death. I still try to honor him. But when it was just, we was smoking to literally laugh. Mm-hmm. Like, when you first started smoking and everything was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We smoking to laugh, just to do some silly stuff and laugh all night. Yeah. And then it became one of them things to where smoke. And we just all sitting there chilling now. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing even, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, that's when the funness is out of it. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, like, the same thing with drinking. You kicking it, you going out there kicking, having a blast. And then it come to a point to where, dang, I used to do this. And now I'm just doing it to just sit here and just slick be in my thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's the same for both, bro. Being transparent. Same thing with the marijuana. Mm-hmm. I'm 3 months off of that.
Congratulations, bro.
Because it turned into a thing where I think I went that route after I wasn't drinking the liquor. Mm-hmm. And
to kind of like,
yeah, but it was more so like, it was doing good for me. My mind races a lot. I got a lot on my plate. So it's like, it was something that was relaxing me. And it was a turn into like a every now and then thing. Then it turned into a frequent thing. Then it turned into, like you said, like, I'm thinking about my work. I'm thinking about it after I get done with my workout. Mm-hmm. I'm going to my workouts like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm an eighth in a day. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, it's becoming a problem. And God said anything that you become an idol of is a sin.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, be alert. Be sober.
Yeah.
Be alert. Because the devil prowls around like a roaring lion trying to figure out who he may devour.
Yeah, and I knew something was wrong because it was getting to the point to where no matter what strand I got, anything, it wasn't like this some boof or this ain't right or like it wasn't like it was a habit. That's what I want us talking about. There, you want to keep people on some corrupted ways. That's cool. But nah, it turned to a thing where it wasn't like enjoyable no more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's how you know when it becomes like a necessity. Mm-hmm. I used to look at my cousins. I used to smoke all the time. I can't eat before Thanksgiving. I used to look at them like, y'all crazy. I mean, I was walking in the same shoes that quick. You know what I'm saying? So.
And I think too, with you growing spiritually, like with that, be sober, with God, when God say with that, it gives the enemy a footstool to plant thoughts, to do whatever he want to do when you ain't in your right mind. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand that because like you said, for some people, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? But then when you realize that the enemy can use those moments to do whatever he want to do with you, it's like you giving him access to do whatever he want to do with you in that moment. And that's why when a lot of people drink, they... and they under the influence. That's why it's called under the influence. What influence are you under?
Yeah.
What influence? What if you under an influence?
Yeah.
And it's even crazy to the part where one time we went to the liquor store for like holiday or something. Yeah. And the store was called Spirits.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting to say like, y'all know these. I said, how... Like the enemy ain't even hiding with it. Yeah. You just choose. Like it literally says spirits.
The Espolon bottle got skulls all over it. Dead skulls all over it. People waving around their head like.
No, that's man. But
man, I'll be looking at people now. I ain't judging nobody because it just reminds you of like, dang. You know, where you was at in the place. And there's nothing wrong with drinking. This is my testimony. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with drinking or the smoking. I think it's just the place that God wants me to be, the impact God is going to allow me to have through him. he needs my full attention.
And I think I like how you said, because I was going to also say that too. Like, you know, this isn't to criticize or bash nothing, you know, because we all have our vices. We all have the stuff we deal with, and you know, our things that we enjoy doing. As you said, this is your testimony, which also leads me to the question I was going to ask you. And you know, I can even take some from it with being black men. You know, I coach. You know, I'm work in education. Let me disclaimer: I don't smoke no more.
Gotcha.
You know, with you being, you know, you being an individual, you are the prominent figure that you are in the neighborhood. I had to speak to someone about this before. Like, man, you know, it's always eyes on you. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
So with the image of the person that you are, you know, working to be, how challenging is that, knowing that it always is eyes on you? Because it could be a moment to where you might go, let's say 3 months, as you said, without smoking, and then you might slip up and get caught one time by one of your kids that you train. How hard is that to balance that out to where you're always being the person that you are pushing for your people, that your mentees, your friends, whoever that might be following you, to you know, actually see that you're walking in the actions that you speak on?
I won't even say it's hard for me no more. I think I know the steps and lifestyle of the other route, of the other way. I know what comes with it. I know the conviction that you feel when you do see people that you don't want to see when you're under the influence. So I've been there now. So it's more so like, it's not like a challenge in me. It's just who I am. It's the way I live now. It's like, I can be in a whole party with liquor and I'm like, I'm cool. People look at you like, you having fun? Yeah, I'm good.
But okay, so and to double back on that, why is it important though, too? You know, because it's always, again, with having students, you have your trainees that trainees that follow you, mentees that follow you. Why is that important to, you know, in this culture that we live? Because I see it, bro. This is set aside, but I see like coaches on, they might, you know, just posting anything, saying anything, and it's like, bro, you a whole coach, you a whole mentor to somebody, you a whole
role model
potentially to somebody, and you got an organization. You know how hard it why is not hard? Let me stop saying that. Why is it important to walk a straight line to where, you know, the ones that's coming underneath, you know, like, okay, I know for certain Mike Hale grabbed that, and you know, he doing what he's supposed to do.
It's more so like, you know, they say if you want change, you got to be the change. So I think that's what I am. You got to be the change that you expect out of your kids. So I know you see a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram be complaining about these kids, but y'all influencing that lifestyle. Y'all smoking before the football game while they putting their pads on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all getting lit right next to them. And then y'all kind of wonder why these kids don't have no guidance, or they don't listen to you. They don't respect you. So when kids don't respect you, it's even in a relationship. When your girlfriend, your boyfriend don't respect you, it's done. So I think keeping that respect, keeping that positive character, I don't care if it's me standing out from everybody else, I'm cool with that. And so it's important for me just to be that walking images of what it takes to be a successful man and just a whole character throughout life. I think that value, I think that's rich.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
No, I mean, I was about to say, I mean, even with, how do you feel about that? Because you are a coach.
Yeah, you're a coach too,
you know, you got to answer that. You got to run that question back to yourself.
Man, listen, it's extremely important because, you know, it's pretty dope, you know, because here recently, you know, from two people, I would say that's close to me, they've both said, like, they've both encountered my boys. That I deal with, and they've both said, man, you got some respect for young men that, you know, they're super, you know, polite, you know, yes sir, no sir, you know, walk with some type of honor to them. And they was like, bro, how you do that? You know, I'm like, shoot, bro, I just try to mimic it. You know, I you know, and it's something that I've told myself I want to set a goal for this, you know, and although I do it now, I want to be a yes or no sir. You know, I've had moments that were in practice where I've gotten so mad and I may have cussed or whatnot, but it's like, bro, that ain't how I want to interact with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to be in here cussing or, you know what I'm saying? I just, I feel like it's important for me to always mimic the image that I want, not mimic. It's important for me to live the image that I want them to live. And I know if it's me getting drunk late on a Saturday night, for instance, it was your birthday, and you know I did partake and have a drink or two. But I know I had already made a commitment to wake up and go work my boys out on Sunday, and if I wouldn't have done that, then I would have been selling myself short and the ones that look up to me, because I wanted to kick it and indulge and have too much fun to where I wasn't able to wake up now the next morning and do what I was supposed to do, what I was, committed to doing. So it's very important to me. Yeah.
I mean, I think even to be very transparent, when we talked about, and I feel like God just kind of revealed this to me not too long ago, like just kind of being of the world and not even knowing it. Yeah. And that goes into talking about like, being a role model and, being one way and then when you're in front of your kids being another way, like it's important to be, who you are across the border, because my husband told me this before, like when you authentic and you being yourself, people respect that. You know what I'm saying? It's more relatable and people will be like, oh, okay. Cause there's been times where I didn't have mentoring sessions and I'm like, well, how am I supposed to help them with confidence, and I'm struggling in this area? He like, that's okay. Like, okay, so even as a mentor, knowing that this is for anybody that's mentoring and being a role model, like, it's okay to be in your vulnerable states and your vulnerable moments and allowing them to see that. But it's also accountability that comes with being, a role model or somebody looking up to you and being the person that you are, on and off pretty much the court. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to add to that.
And you asked me a question too, because I want to give content. I really want to help people on how what led me through to being sober and all this stuff too. Yes. So I wrote a few of these things down, and I'm gonna just talk to y'all about some of the things that I had to face because of the decision I made of, letting that vice liquor control me and it, leading me to stuff. So, a lot of times when you go through stuff, we trying to beat generational curses. People say I'm going to change, but they don't have a plan. And when you don't have a plan to change, you planning to fail, like you without even knowing. So I had to really look at myself and look at the pros and the cons of drinking. And the cons was way higher than the pros of what I've been through. You gotta get to the root of it. When I was in college and stuff, when I was in high school, when I used to be drunk and stuff, I used to be the one like popping off the fights. Or me and my homies was always fighting. When I was in college, I was in a relationship. And it got real toxic and it didn't work out because I used to get caught cheating when I was drunk. So people don't like looking that deep, but that's what you really got to really look at deep and see why you need to get away from it. 2021 is when I caught my DUI charge. All right. So then guess what? That led to me my license was suspended for 2 years. I got a kid. Yeah. I got a job. I got things to do. You know what I'm saying? So me making that decision is putting my life at a hindrance because of a poor decision I made. And that ain't it though. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to a Mary Haven place to take counseling for 6 weeks with people that are real, drug addicts and stuff like that. So that conviction, that embarrassment, you know what I'm saying? Then I had to, when I was on probation for probation for 2 years, I take drug tests every month for weed. I ain't even get I'm not even in this for weed, but I had to take a drug test every month. You know what I'm saying? My license was suspended for 2 years, and then I was charged also, this is the big thing, I was charged with an F5 felony. That, by the grace of God, is gone now, but, charged, not convicted. I was charged. But the fact that I had all that over my head from one decision, and then I forgot, let me not forget the finances, all right? So a DUI class, $500, all right? Court costs, $1,500. Probation fees, $480. License renewal, $475. Lawyer fee, $1,500. That's about 3-4 bands.
Yeah, about 4 years. And then
putting you on backtrack with your life of not being restricted on what you can do, where you can go. I couldn't go out of the state. Right. I couldn't go out of where if I asking somebody if I was allowed to go. And I only can be out of town for a certain amount of time. So it's like, you got to come to the point where you be like, what am I doing? Like, it's costing me.
I would say even in that, it's like, that's not true freedom. You putting yourself in bondage. You know what I'm saying? When it ain't even gotta be that.
Yeah.
And not even like to go into when we were talking about as far as like not making nobody feel bad about their decision making.
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing that we wasn't, we're not trying to condemn anybody.
Nah.
But it's that thing when like you saying, you got an issue and you know that it's costing you a lot.
You gotta.
So weigh the options. You know what I'm saying? Just being mindful of that. Like, and some people know what it's costing them and just can't truly help that they're addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? Because of what it does for them and in certain kind of capacities. But like you said, just simply writing down the cost. What has it cost you? What relationships has it cost you? What environments has it cost you? What, opportunities has it cost you? What spiritual, what has it cost you? Because it's not just a materialistic thing, it's a mind thing. How much peace has it cost you? How much joy has it cost you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it cost me a lot.
Yeah. And man, I think I think that's why I love neighborhood politics, man.
Yeah.
I think, that's having special moments like these. Because again, it's not because we all have our vices. We all have our issues. We all have had our situations growing up to where, we may have felt led to doing particular things. We have been through certain stuff, man. But these is to have moments of transparent conversations to where we can help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Like for you to sit here and like I always tell people, we might be on the same coaching staff, but I might not be able to get through little Johnny like you able to. You know what I'm saying? So for us to be able to sit here and have a conversation and to be vulnerable with each other as Black men, as Black individuals that all come from different backgrounds of some sort of nature, it's touching. It's super touching because, it's crazy to hear that. I hear my story within that too. When I was at Wright State, my first year out of school, called it OVI. I didn't blow. So, they I
think it was the same thing. Me too.
Me too.
So that's crazy. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a moment of transparency. 3 people here, all, then being called, I called the OVI, didn't blow. So, of course, that's why, whatever, that's don't matter. End up, having to go through that, and at that moment, I was like 18, like you said, I had to go, it was a 2 weekends and stay the night at some situation to a hotel and I'm really going through courses, like you said, of an all day situation with people that's really been in this for life though. You know what I'm saying? So
not even, just dealing with alcohol, dealing with
I was coke, meth, all that.
And I would say the crazy part about me is I wasn't even like a drinker. I just had a night at college where I actually got drunk and went to jail. That was my first time. Like, what am I, me? And having to go through classes and losing my license and having to pay to get that and paying to get insurance, paying the court fees, paying. And I was like, God.
Like, man, I couldn't even afford the bottle. How am I afford all of this?
Yeah.
You want to know one of the most humiliating? You want to know that humiliating?
I couldn't even afford that bottle with he. And I what?
One of the most humiliating things was when I was in court. And I was in Morrow County. I wasn't even in Columbus. I was going to visit somebody, like one of my little chicks. And I was going to Topgolf. Obviously didn't make it to Topgolf. So I was in Morrow County. So white predominantly, city. And then the judge, he's a strickler. So he doesn't like people with DUIs and nothing like that. I think me being Black didn't play a part. So when I had a court date and he was basically treating me like I committed like a murder.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're dangerous. You're a harm to society. You're an alcoholic. And the only way I was able to get on probation to fight this case, to not get that felony, was like, he made me sit there and say, I'm an alcoholic. At first I'm looking at my lawyer like, I ain't no alcoholic. I'm like, what you talking about? He looked at me like, you gotta say it. And then I had to sit there and realize like, you was an alcoholic.
Wow. So in that very moment?
Yeah, he was looking at me like, you're an alcoholic. Like, you have to say, like, I'm an alcoholic and I need help to get admitted to that program. Like, you got to agree to that. And I'm like, no, I'm not no alcoholic. And my lawyer hit me like, bro, you got to say it. Like, that and like, you got to say it. You got to say it. And then for me, looking at it now, I was like, I might not have liked it. I might not have liked the sound of it and how he was saying it. And he probably could have said it a lot differently. But it was Truth hurts.
Yeah, it'd be hard. Not
even that. Not trying to be funny, and I'm not saying you ain't no murderer, but think about how dangerous a drunk driver is.
Yeah, so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with him because I'm pretty sure he was saying it crazy. Yeah, but when you think about how many drunk drivers and took families' lives or innocent, from just drinking and driving. You know what I'm saying?
So like you said, you might not want to hear it at times, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Dang, so you had to say it.
I had to say it and say I'm an alcoholic, and just to feel that humiliation, to be pointed as that, it was just humiliating. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had no control. It was either that or I got felonies over my head and I gotta maybe do jail time. I'm like, nah.
So you saying in that moment you did realize that you had problems? Like not, but like it's like when you said it in that moment you wasn't feeling.
I wouldn't even say in that moment because I was more angry. Like, oh, he talking to me crazy like that. Like, I ain't no alcoholic. You tripping, bro.
Yeah.
But I think now talking about it and just probably had this revelation when I went through therapy and stuff. I was like, dang, you was. People don't understand like alcoholism is not somebody out there with holding a sign. It's like if you got to drink every day, if you're drinking 2 days back to back, if you got to drink to get drunk, that's alcoholism. No matter if you like it or not, you got to take more than 1 or 2 shots. Like, that's form of being an alcoholic. People don't want to look at it like that, but it is what it is. If you're drinking every weekend.
And so, you had we first started speaking. You had talked about how the drinking started in high school.
Yeah.
Continued in college. During that time, you had some good times. Some great moments. And I'm going somewhere with this. You know what I'm saying? But point is, I'm assuming with friends, maybe family members. We kick it. Hey, bro, pull up. We about to turn up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was that like when it wasn't no more? Hey, pull up. Or no, it wasn't no more.
Yeah.
Or it was pull up, but I ain't drinking though. But you know what I'm saying, we can just sit and chill. But and then that knock on the door never happened. What was that like starting to when the friendship started kind of going this way?
That's one of the hardest part I think people deal with when it comes to changing, not having that support and falling victim to the opinion of your friends. Because when I first was going out and I'll tell them I'm not drinking, oh, he being weird. Here you go, I ain't drinking. You know what I'm saying? Or he think he better than everybody. You got to be strong and know like why you're doing it. And I think that's one of the things that God blessed me with. I never cared about what you thought about me. I never cared to explain to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. If you already got your opinion of me, they don't know deeply why I'm doing it. This is bigger than what y'all trying to have this 2-hour moment to be lit. I got to deal with him. So that 2-hour moment of being lit ain't worth the conviction I'm gonna probably feel for whoever, you know what I'm saying? I done felt that conviction. Y'all ain't been through what I've been through. Y'all ain't felt. I went to church and when I went to church, I just start crying after a couple situations happened. I was crying without trying. And it was that conviction, like God was like, I was waiting on you. So I was like, I ain't going back to that for y'all.
No,
you know
for sure.
So how did your friend dynamic change though? Like, did you?
It changed a lot. I was talking about that on the way up here. It changed a lot, man. People liked me more when I was
lit,
dying to self. When I wasn't dying to self, people liked me more when I wasn't the best version. When I was lit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't saying lit like you, but I was saying like when you was lit.
I had more people hit me up and invite me to stuff when I was lit and doing the things that they was doing. People like you more when you're not your best self. It sounds bland. It is what it is. People associate you more and they make you be a part of things when you conform to what they're doing. But when you're not conforming to what they're doing, you don't get invited to stuff. Yeah. And I'm okay with it, honestly. I don't want to be around it. I'd rather be in a room with 4 or 5 people that I know on the same alignment as me because we all heading in the right direction.
Yeah,
you know
for sure. So. And our stories is one of the same as far as that testimony part of it. But to play the devil's advocate, because again, it might be somebody on here to where for us it was kind of easy. Well, not easy because it's hard. When you have them bonds with someone for so long, but when you finally commit to it and be like, it is what it becomes. That it is what it is. Yeah. But for the person who's watching and they just having trouble with the separation aspect of it, they want to separate, but they don't like being alone either. What can we do for somebody like that to where it's like, man, neighborhood politics, we hear y'all, but shoot, this is hard for me. This is hard.
I would say the first thing is taking that step to change your environment. Mm-hmm. You know, if that's going to church, if church is not something that you're ready to do right now, I think that's one thing we need to talk about is being okay with being by yourself. Mm-hmm. That's huge. And when I found God, I had to be okay with being bored. I had to be okay with not having nothing to do. I had to be okay with sitting with my emotions. So I think the first thing is like being okay with being with self. Mm-hmm. Being okay with those thoughts and emotions and not running from them. Mm-hmm. And figuring out what you want to change. And I think once you figure that out as a man or as a woman, you can kind of guide yourself and God will lead you to being around people that are on the same path. Yeah. I didn't just potentially just people just walked in my life that was on the same alignment. I had to sit with self first. I had to figure out who I was. Mm-hmm. I had to figure out where I was at in life and what I need to do. And when I started unraveling who I truly was and not the image that I, made of myself, I think it just helped me, get there.
Right.
If that answered your question.
Nah, for sure.
No, I was going to say, and I haven't experienced this, but it was coming to my mind as you were talking, like, if it's somebody that's saying, like, this is hard for me, how do I do this? And we're talking about the correlation between your relationship with the Lord. It's like, first, surrenderance, and like you said, acknowledging that you even have a problem. Yeah. Because God can't bless or heal the person that you pretend to be.
Can't bless no mess.
Can't bless no mess. But also, I can't bless somebody who I can't bless who you pretend to be. If you ain't coming to me with the real, raw, authentic, I can't bless you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said at first, it's like acknowledging that there is a problem. Yeah. And then two, we talking about just that's why it's funny that all this is full circle, is surrendering. Mm-hmm. Well, what does that look like? It's looking like, all right, Lord, I'm struggling with this. I need your help. Here. Yeah. Here you go. I need help. I'm surrendering, right? Mm-hmm. And once you do that surrendering, it goes into what me and you talk about all the time. Allowing God to work on you, not trying to do it yourself, because you battling something, right? Yeah, so it's trusting God, but also giving yourself grace, what me and you talk about all the time. So if you battling that and you got the desire in your heart is, I want to change, when you mess up, not reverting back in the sense of like, dang, I already messed up, so I might as well go back. It's like, nah, let me go take it to God again and let him keep doing what he's doing. Yeah. And let me give myself some grace, knowing that I just started this journey, but my heart is still, I want to be free from this. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said, it's that dying to self daily. Yeah. But trusting God, surrendering to God, and that comes with relationships. So you can't just say, God, I need you to change me. Yeah. And don't go talk to him ever again after that. He heard your cry, but you need to converse with God. Yeah. So even in those moments when you fall short, you would know, like, okay, take it back to God. All right, cool. We starting all over again. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the pressure of it all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of pressure when you feel like you keep messing up and you ain't getting nowhere and you falling back and reverting back. Yeah. But when you learn God's nature, learn God's character, it makes it less pressure because you realize, like, okay, God got me for real.
I think about for men, being okay with being vulnerable. I think that's a challenge too with change. Just being vulnerable and letting people know, like, you're not okay. It's okay not to be okay. And I think that's what a lot of us struggle with. You ask anybody, how you doing? I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good. But what if you don't hear too many people say, I'm hurting. I'm struggling right now. So I think a big part of that is just finding a mentor, finding counsel. Wise counsel is what God tells us to do all the time. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. Community. So it's like reaching out to people that you do see doing it and letting them know and feeling comfortable and building a relationship with somebody that you can open up to. Yeah. I think that's huge.
Like you said, vulnerability.
Therapy is one of the first steps I took. I would say that. Therapy. If you don't trust people, that's how I was. I wasn't okay with talking to people right away. A therapist, they non-biased, they don't know you. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's probably what I should have said first. Therapy. Getting it there, a lot of people run from that. That's probably because of the same reasons for me. It's like you get that defense mechanism saying, I don't need nobody, or I don't trust nobody, or I don't want to open up to nobody. So, nah, that's what you need to do. Vulnerability is power, it's strength. And it's who you find out who you are.
Man, it's so hard to be vulnerable.
It's tough.
Oh my God, I have to really be real and say how I really feel. Yeah. For real. And then trust whatever you, like, I don't even know what this person to do with the vulnerability, but trusting God enough to know, like, okay, God, all I got is vulnerability right now. But it's hard though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's really hard, especially when you're struggling with pride in any kind of capacity. Yeah.
And even with that, it's hard when you are vulnerable. Because again, I'm sorry, I love where we at with it. But as you know, but it's hard being vulnerable with somebody, and then the person you was vulnerable with turn around and
use it.
You know what I'm saying? So now that vulnerability that you was open to closes, and now you don't know how to. You know, now it's that wall to where I'm not never even going to try to break that down again because I did try, and you know I feel like as a culture, you know, a lot of people can sit here, and I believe wholeheartedly if we had 100 people up here that was going through something, 100 people would probably say, "Yeah, I tried," you know, but that moment I tried it and it didn't work out. It shut me out. Why is it important to not give up?
That's what great at me, man. Like that's what I was raised off of. It just, you know, if you believe in yourself, you don't give up, man. There's nothing that you can't sustain. But I think not giving up is just, I think that's what sports teaches you too. You know, you're gonna might be down third or fourth quarter. You can come out on top. I think not giving up is just, life is not gonna get easier. You just get stronger. You get wiser. So if you give up when it's tough, when you get up during a challenge, you're not gonna really be able to see what God got for you. You're not gonna really be able to see what's on the other end, you know, of what the light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel dark, but it's light at the end of the tunnel. But a lot of people never get to the end of the tunnel because they give up in the mix and they just easily go back to what's easy for them. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a challenge, if it's easy, it's not worth it to me.
For sure.
You know, I don't want nothing given to me because it comes with a cost. It was easy to get behind that wheel after I was drinking. It was easy to make all those decisions. It was easy. It don't take no effort. It don't take no really thought, you know? So giving up, I think not giving up is just something that you should live by no matter what you go through. If you don't give up, you can't come out on top.
For sure.
God's an all-timing God. He's an almighty God, and he didn't change my life, bro. He didn't help me through some stuff that I know it wasn't nobody out here to help me because there was no way that it could have happened. But hell, definitely with this DUI, I was supposed to be on probation way longer. You know what I'm saying? But I stayed loyal and I surrendered, so he took care of the rest.
And I love that, bro. I really do because my heart is heavy for you know the individuals where it's you know they have given up, you know, and you know they don't know how to get back up to you know keep on going this crazy. Like you said, I get you know sports do teach you a lot of stuff, man. Because the third and fourth quarters, man. Listen, what you
down 21, you down 21 points, or in a football game, like you get knocked down, you gotta get back
what
up.
You want to do, man? But it's like you know, I truly hope that you know in these conversations that someone could hear our hearts and be like, you know what, let me give this another shot, you know, on whatever we speaking in particular about drinking right now, but whatever that vice may be, you know, it's I think of the, what was the movie we watched with the young man that you watched, you said you cried, you went to the movies with,
The Forge.
The Forge, you know.
Did you see it?
Oh so, my you know, goodness. Check that out. But you know, his vice, I guess, what you would say was playing basketball with his friends, and he because he wasn't drinking, he wasn't smoking. You know, in a PlayStation,
he was playing the game.
You know, and he had to surrender to that to you know, kind of grow that relationship with you know the Lord, and for you know, him to be able to be that person that you know God was wanting him to be. So, you know, I think to sit here and have these moments, you know, I just want people to know that, you know, by no means are we talking at them because we all have our issues.
That's what I'm on here for.
Yeah, these conversations is to, you know, figure out how we can get through them as a people.
No, and that's what I was about to say to you, because I do want y'all to know, like, he is super passionate and super genuine about even sitting on his couch and just sharing your heart. Like, I have to let you know, like, I salute you, like, and like real talk, because you not just sitting here and being like, oh, I just want to hear myself talk. You like, nah, I want people to be aware, and I want people to know about God. Like, I really want them to understand. Like,
he asked me. What's the reason for this podcast? I said to show people the power of God, the favor of God, and what He can do to you when you let go. You know, this is nothing to do with me, and this is. Like, that's why I was taking notes. He probably like, what are you taking notes for? Because I wanted to make sure that I touch on everything that God's been wanting me to talk about. Because what we go through ain't for us. It's to push through somebody else. It's going to change somebody's life, I'm telling you. And it's going to inspire somebody. Because I had a time where, right when I got that DUI, I was still going back and forth drinking. So I gave, you know what I'm saying? In essence, I gave up a few times. But I kept attacking therapy. And I eventually was able to, it don't bother me no more. You know what I'm saying? So my main thing is showing people like God is real. You know?
And then I also think even in like when it comes to having any, like you said, dealing with any of the vices that you deal with that causes you to be kind of away from God, like it really do take you away from God. Yeah. So in moments like this, like with your Bible and you being who you are, like even from the first episode when I first ever met you, you know, you and Q being on each other, just your determination. Like you are very determined, you know what I'm saying? Like very motivated, very like by any means, you know what I'm saying? Is what your whole everything stand for. So it's like it's crazy to me because you was like that with basketball. You was like that with I mean football. You was like that, you know, with your business, and like now you like that with God. So it's like though, like you know, drinking or whatever you was doing was causing you not to see who you truly were in God. You get what I'm saying?
It's crazy you said that because it's been my quote for the year, man. It's like, what you make time for displays where your focus and heart is at. And I was making time, like you say, for the hustle, making time for sports and making that my priority. And it wasn't working. But when I finally made him my priority, when I made him the center, finances, boom, he got it. Business, boom, we going right now. Everything that I was chasing and trying to make a priority and make it my main focus, it's not my main focus no more. He's the focus. And then everything that I asked for, I've been receiving through him because he's the center. Like like I said, when I say I'm at where my feet is at, I mean that. And when I'm not where my feet is at, I feel it. ASAP. That conviction, that discernment be real, bro. I feel it, you know? So it kind of be hard for me to come sometimes even go outside sometimes because like, I don't even want to be involved. I don't want to be even surrounded. I don't want to be tempted. Boy, I ain't messing with y'all. Like, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you out the field. I'll see you at training. Pull up on me then. Like, link. Like, we linking. I'm not linking with you. Y'all see you on Facebook Live all the time. Rolling up. I'm cool. Like, nothing against you. But again, this is nothing against nobody. It's just transparency, man. Just
it's just really speaking on what you notice and what you see and helping yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's so dope because when I tell you God just got on me this week, when I was trying to figure out like why something was hard and God was like simple, like it's hard because your attention is divided.
Yeah.
Like you ain't been prioritizing me. Like you prioritizing everything else above me. And it's like I was so upset and blown away by the fact that we treat God as if he's second option. And I even had to cry and like repent and be like, God, I don't want to be that way though. Like, you know, like you were just saying, like prioritizing, like I'm out here prioritizing everything else over you. And I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna get to God after all this over. Or I'm gonna get off of social media after I get finished doing it. It's like, why do you even think that that's even cool?
I even break it down in relationship terms. I'm in a relationship, right? And you know how people say, I want God to lead my relationship and I want God to like lead us. Me and my girl, like I ain't had sex in 3 months. Like you said, you can't play God in a system where you can just cut on and off when you feel like doing it. And you start dealing with trials and stuff in your relationship, definitely when it's God ordained and you're not really leading by him. God says in the Bible, you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. Ain't no way around it. So I think a lot of people, when it comes to walking with God, they want to surrender to a little bit of things and still be on the other side. It's like, nah, you got to be all in. Like in all aspects, like, you can't play God. So it's like, that's how you know it's for real for me, because it was nothing for me to stop having sex. And that's something that I love to do, if I'm being transparent. But it was nothing for me to die to that and let that go to get what I want from, not what I want, to be a walking image of God. So the things that I pray for, if it's for me, God can bless me with it. So it's like, that's how serious I am with it. It's like, it don't.
And I think what's dope is, you know, because again, it took you some time to get to where you was at, you know. So, you know, what we want to express to people and share is that it's going to be the same with, you know, don't feel like where you aren't today or where you are today, you know, it's too far away. You know, it's going to take some time, you know. So for you as an individual, if it's you know, if you've never prayed a day in your life, you know, if it's you praying, starting from tomorrow, praying for, you know, your 1 minute, whatever the case may be okay with that, you know. Don't feel like you got to be nothing that you aren't immediately. And we spoke on that earlier in the podcast, but it takes time to grow as an individual. It takes time to get out of certain areas. It takes time to be the person that you desire to be.
But I think it's just the pressures of the world.
Absolutely. It's hard.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, I had to get real with God before, like, God, I want to be perfect.
Yeah.
I know I can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had to tell him, like, I want to be perfect. Not like I want to be perfect just to say I'm perfect. Yeah, right. But it was like, I was trying to do all the right things, all the right ways. And when I felt like I fell short, and that's why I say that correlates with even with anybody that's battling with any type of addiction, it feels horrible because you like, I fell short again. Like, I fell short. Like, I actually really fell short. And you, if you're not careful, you will start allowing that to be your fuel, which could cause you to go crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It will cause you to go crazy. So to go into what you were saying, that's why I said I think it's just the pressures of the world, because it's like, you say you is growing with God and you just now walking it out, and you really do want to please him, but then you keep messing up. Yeah. You gon' that'll be something that'll cause you to be kind of feeling condemned. Yeah. Then you start shrinking, and you be like, you one day turned into 3 days. Now I ain't talking to God. Now it's fat. Now it's a whole week. Now I might as well just go ahead and do what I was already doing because I messed up one time. But it's like going back to what we were talking about, learning the nature of God. Like, but like you were just saying, taking your time, giving yourself grace, like allowing God to do the work in you. I think we try to do the work for God, and it's like, no, relationship is we do this together. Like, let me work through you. Yeah. And that goes on to what you was just saying.
Man, I also want to, because a lot of times people hear that God word and because for whatever their reasons is they shy away, which is, so I want to just, if it makes people feel more comfortable, because, this is, we here for growing as an individual, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And from there, when your heart is in the right spot, when your heart is placed in right posture, everything else is going to fall in line. So I'm just saying, like, because again, some people hear that God word and they just be like, I'm cool. Yeah. But it's not too often where, if you talking to a person and they have the desire to grow as an individual, they'll just be like, no, I don't want to be a better person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So again, if neighborhood politics, that's what it's about, because even if you're growing as an individual, as a person, day to day, that 1%, like I talked to my boys about when we in that gym, you'll get there to, you can have that God conversation, you know what I'm saying? But for now, even if it's your focus is to grow as an individual, stop drinking, whatever the case may be, for yourself, for your kids, everything else to follow. Yeah, yeah. But, I'm sorry, but just to kind of go back to, I guess, the friendship thing, how important though is the balance? Because I think, coming in, you did have, we was speaking briefly about, you did reach out, this previous weekend and be like, hey, let's, let's kick it. Yeah. We didn't go deep into the conversation, so I'm not sure how that went. Yeah. But how important is still though the balance of everything?
It's good. I mean, it's good to have balance, man. Because I was in a space this weekend where I'm like, man, I don't have a life outside of working, hustling, making money, and like the fatherhood. It'd be days where I have nothing to do and I don't know what to do. And I'll be finding myself, I always find a way to like go back to hustling and working. I'll be wanting to hit up my friends and stuff, but one or two of them don't reply back. I'll be like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. I go back to that, but I finally had some people pull up this time. Not finally, I actually reached out to have people pull up. And it was everything I needed, bro, and to take my mind off of just the challenge of life, to take the pressure off myself with just hustling and grinding and just relax and be me and be a human and enjoy life. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, dang, my life revolves around save money, hustle, grind, impact people, fatherhood, relationship. It was no room for me. It was like nothing. Like it was nothing that I did for myself, and that's a problem. You can burn out that way. Yeah. And for me, it's like I can't keep using that as an excuse. It's like I don't do anything. I gotta create that environment. So I reached out to people, and it was everything I needed. Having balance is good, bro. You gotta really be able to balance out and detach from the world and really be able to enjoy yourself.
For sure.
That's crazy. Me and Ariane was just talking about this yesterday. And she was like, what do you do? Like, what do you like to do? What do you like? Yeah. How do you have fun?
I mean, because I think that's important, because it really might be someone that's watching you that grew up with you. But they might feel a little detached because where they see you at in life. You know what I'm saying? But they might be an individual to where, they really might want to change, or they might want to kick it with you for the good of y'all's relationship, not to bring you down or anything. But they might feel like, oh, nah, he he too serious. Coach, I can't hit up Q. He don't, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to do none of this no more. And it's like, you know, so to you, what you were saying, your conversation is like being able to still maintain though, because you know, that balance of being able to still, you know, juggle both and knowing that I'm still an individual. I'm still a regular human being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm still me, bro. I still might be. You gonna have fun around me. They was just drinking and doing their thing with me yesterday. They was having fun. I ain't gonna be like, I ain't gonna bring out no Bible scriptures while y'all drinking.
So
you know?
it said the Bible says you shouldn't be drinking, but go. You know,
be you. Like, I'm a walking image of God. I ain't perfect, but I don't judge nobody because I ain't want nobody judging me. And if people can look at me and I can look myself in the mirror and still think I need to work on.
But I think the beauty in Jesus, and I think the Chosen do a perfect job of doing it. Like, he ain't had no problem being around.
Yeah.
And not to say that, you know, to confuse anybody. Yeah. It was just, he knew through relationship and through walking, you gonna just change, being around me. Yeah. So I ain't gotta put in no overtime to, I could say one word and your whole life is gonna change. Yeah. But until now, I'm gonna be around you, and get to know you, build relationship with you, and meet you where you at. Yeah. And I think that's important too, because a lot of people will feel that, like, you know, to be around us or whatever, like, I ain't gonna do that. Y'all. Yeah. You know, I remember I was just at a little gathering. Somebody was like, I ain't about to smoke around you. I feel like I'm smoking around one of my bishops or one of my. I start cracking up. He was like, I don't feel right smoking around you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. And
that's a blessing though.
Hey,
I'm about to say. I was literally about to say that, like, in my mind, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. Yeah. I grew up around people smoking, and I know who I am, and I ain't, you ain't tempting me or anything like that, but it showed just a level of respect and, like, as far as who they know to see me to be, or in just in general. But it was like, I get what you're saying, because, like, I'm not thinking. I'm like, I'm still me. I ain't indulging, and you ain't changing me, and I ain't judging you. But it's like, nah, I ain't smoking around you. I'm about to go smoke in here because you making me feel a little. But that's how you know, like, when presence of God and your relationship with God is really an impact on not just yourself but other people around you as well. So it is important to have balance, and even in those moments, like, you don't want to be like, all right, you can come smoke around me and drink around me, just welcoming it. But at the same time, if I'm around and I ain't about to judge you or condemn you in that, I still need community. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool, because within that, you'll still be able to see who is, you know, eventually, if as far as if someone is, you know, let's just say we having a kicking session and this one individual just keep on trying to get me to indulge in something. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be kicking it. But the ones who are like, the ones who are being respectful, you know, I think that's pretty cool. Because at the end of the day, when we speak about all this, and when you do bring up God, the whole point is to grow in discipleship and grow. So, you know, if I'm still able to kick it with such and such, and we are able to kind of have them conversations here and there, and then you start seeing bro come around a little bit more, and we able to, hey man, so when you went to, where you go to church, or how do you pray? When you pray, what's that look like for you? And then now it's more, you know what I'm saying, now you growing more disciples to walk in your light.
I done had some gangsters that's in the city that reached out to me to this day to go to church, ask me what church I go to, ask me about Bible verses, ask me, like, to help come work out. They know they gonna get this too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's powerful. People want to be that. They want to be
people
around
are
that.
Yearning for it.
Yeah, they want it. It's just, but it's so much judgment out here, and the people that are surrounded, they're not getting fed that. So it's easy to sit back and be like, I get to God whenever. Sometimes you can't. It don't work
but that's
like that.
why I think it's so beautiful for you to be sitting here and wanting just to spread the word.
Yeah, I know a lot of people look up to me. And I want people to look up to me for the right reason. Forget the sports, forget the athletics, forget the fly, all that. Like, I'm here to show you, like, I'm an image of God, and to show you the power of being rich spiritually. You know, a lot of people got always focus on I got it on with the outside, with the apparel and the jewelry. Yeah, you rich, you got a lot of money, but you broke spiritually. So is you rich or not? Is you on or not? Nah, you of this world rich. You know, it's like, I'm a person that I feel like once you have your peace and your freedom, that rich and that value sustains and overpowers any of that having it on and being fly or being him in this world. Because it lasts, it ain't fake. It's every day.
I'm about to do something real quick.
Talk to me.
You got to quick on your feet.
I'm quick on my feet.
Favorite scripture?
John 13:7.
3 words that describe you. Ooh, got you.
Determined. Disciplined. Faithful.
1 word of advice that you would give somebody who's struggling with alcoholism.
That you're not alone, and that I was there too, and that you can get through it, and you're enough. And one decision of you going back to it doesn't make you any less of having the love of God. He forgives you for your sins when he died on the cross for it to forgive us for our sins. He's waiting on you. Keep chasing him. Keep walking towards him. If you fall, get back up. Walk towards him again. Fall, get back up. Walk towards him again. Before you know it, you'll look back and you'll be 50 steps ahead. Just keep your eyes on him and know, like, you can overcome it, just like I did.
What is the first book of the Bible that you would recommend somebody to read when they're trying to learn about Christ?
Proverbs. I've been stuck in Proverbs for about 5 months to a year, I would say, because it talks to you about wisdom. It teaches you about morals and it helps you with your decision making. I feel like your decision making and your morals and wisdom help you navigate life. You know, I think a lot of people went through a lot of things and went through a lot of trials in life because they didn't have wisdom or they didn't act on the wisdom.
Who's your favorite disciple?
Paul.
Why?
People might say that because he was hard-headed at first. He was so against God's word. He was killing people that was praising God. He was like telling people that God is not what he was portraying to be. And God had to sit him down. Like he had to sit me down. And, he took away his vision. You know, the Bible took away his vision.
You're murdering Christians.
He took away my vision. He took away my insight on who I thought I was. And
that's cool.
I had nowhere to go. And Paul, because, he's a example of you don't have to be perfect to be a strong servant in this community to make an impact to show God's worth. And I feel like that's who I am. Not Paul, but I feel like that's somebody that I relate to. Him, Peter. I got a few of them. David.
Just one.
Yeah.
You went with Paul.
Yeah.
And this is a little D one.
Okay.
But it's whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
If God was in this room right now, what would you ask him or say to him?
If God was in this room right now, what would I ask him?
Or what would you say to him? Even if you didn't ask him for nothing, what would you say to God right now? Stuck, huh?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know, let my man think.
Nah, cause he's good, ain't they?
I would I ask him why he took some of my closest people. My best friend Dwayne, my cousin Pope, Mike Fair, my mentors. I miss them.
You would want to know why?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a big one right there, bro. I had a moment this weekend, and you won't even know. I was on the way to the little spot. I was I had to shoot me a message to Miss Paris and Trinace, and to talk about, let them know I love them. That I was thinking about Treese, because that is something real, man. And my condolences, bro.
Yeah.
Because
my little brother.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of people, bro.
Yeah.
Just look at the timeline, bro. Lost my cousin Pope in 2016. My cousin Mike Fair shortly after that. My homie Big James. Lost my little brother. Seeing my mom's hurt from that. Getting a murder. I lost so many people, bro. I lost more than that. My mentor and that believed in me. Going my NFL journey. And Dwayne Haskins is my best friend. I met him in 2019. And he's one of the big reasons why I found God and knew that walking by faith was real. He helped me find myself again. So to lose somebody that help you be confident in who you are and remind yourself that you're not who your past was, and to believe in you, to not have that no more is tough,
Yeah.
Nah, for sure, bro.
It's tough, bro.
But you doing an amazing job, and you doing what you're supposed to do. It's touching to see, the steps that you walking in honor of, the close ones that you have lost, and I think, we all can sit here and say we know for certain that they all are proud of you, and they are extremely appreciative of the individual that you are, and the person that you will still continue to grow to be. because you touching a lot of people, you know, and as a black man, you know, to even be sitting here with you right now, having this moment, you know, it's touching. And, you know, I think, you know, neighborhood politics, you know, we created this platform to have these moments to where we can grow with each other, you know, because you teach me a lot. And like you said, even if we can change one individual's life because someone else then lost people too, you know, they feel like, man, it's hard, you know, to get out that cycle. But, you know, hopefully them seeing this episode and, you know, hearing your story, they could be like, you know what, if Mike did it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I want to say I'm proud of your vulnerability. I know that as a man, it's hard to express how you feel in any kind of capacity. You know what I'm saying? And also to do it on the platform. You know what I'm saying? I think the beauty in it all is that you was authentic in this moment. You ain't hold back. You ain't try to perp. Is what we've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that was your genuine, true question to God. You know what I'm saying? It's not that often that somebody would literally be like, all right, bet, let me, especially you been in your word, you spend time with God, you got a relationship with him, and that's still a question for you. And I think that's important for people to see and people to know, you know? So I just want to salute you for just being a man that's being vulnerable in front of us, in front of the world, but just with yourself most importantly. And to back up what you were saying, when Q first created Neighborhood Politics, he was like, baby, I want to create a platform where black men can be vulnerable. Men in general, but he was like specifically black men in the neighborhood, because we don't get the opportunity to cry. We don't get the opportunity to vent. We don't get the opportunity. And I was like, well, let's make it happen. So I'm grateful that we able to be blessed with your presence here right now and have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I really salute you.
And it takes me to that moment when Paul, they was on the boat, you know, and you know, I think he had just found out that his wife had miscarriage.
No, Simon.
I'm sorry, Simon. Simon. You know, they was on the boat, and you know, and Simon, you know, he was mad. You know, he was frustrated. And he was, you know, that waves started hitting. And you know, in that moment of questioning God, you know, it kind of made him kind of step off that boat. And then he started sinking instead of walking on. I'm sorry, did I say Paul? Simon. He started sinking in that water.
He said, "If this is you, Lord, like, you know, let me walk on water." He said, "Come, come."
He started sinking in that water. But I think was pretty dope and powerful is the fact that even in these moments, like I'm just using that as an example because Simon was questioning God. Even though we have them questions, you still haven't stepped off that boat and allowed yourself to start sinking. You know, and even in them vulnerable moments to where you may have, you know, felt yourself, you know, falling a little short, you've still been determined to continue walking that path.
It took me a while to get here, bro, because I ain't gonna lie, you know, losing all them people. When I lost my cousin Pope, I was in college. I drunk my life away when he died. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that passed away, my little brother, Mike Fair, James, my mentor. Through all those losses, I was drinking to get through it. I never really sat with it. And I still honestly think I still got some room to work with my recent because I stay busy, you know, and I keep working. But my thing is not to take the same steps I took in the past. And when they was gone, you know, I was running to that liquor. So being able to cope different, to be able to heal different is challenging, but it's a better feeling. I'm doing it authentically. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So.
All right, this is my last question.
Yeah. No, you good. No rush, you good.
No, bro, this is really my last question.
No, you good.
And it's a little light in the mood.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you got coming, what you got going on? Can you let us know can you give us something? Just a little bit of something. Just one thing.
God said I can't tell him something. I can't tell him everything.
Okay. Okay,
I got a camp coming up.
Okay.
April 13th, a youth football camp.
Yay!
Man, it's sold out already in a month. It sold out last month. 140 kids signed up. But the biggest thing about it is I got a